Yeah, they certainly do. They absolutely do. But she's handling, I think she's handling all that quite well, very well. And she smiles instead of scowls. Yeah, I think you're right about that. There is an inbred bias against women. And, you know, corporations too. I mean, she's able to integrate and marry a real firmness and strength with a joy and smile. Kind of fun. You know, she's enjoying herself. Yeah, absolutely. Oh no, that's cool. That's cool.
Hi, everybody. So, who brought a friend tonight? Yeah, that's why there's a couple of seats left. All right, thank you. Oh yeah, that thing is still coming. All right, so my name is Benoit, and this is my wife's living room. I have to say that because she's right there, she can hear me. So we've been presenting concerts in our home for 24 and a bit years, and we do it for you. We built this place for you and your friends. So now you have to tell your friends about it so that it's always full. Everything we do should be packed, right? There should not be an empty seat, and that's what I want. So every month we have a different visual artist. This month his name is Anthony Astarita. He did these three last night, and then the two in the lobby, the two big ones, the night before. He's painting live again next Sunday, so a week from today. And so if you want to watch him, it's pretty fun to watch him paint. Like on Friday night we had the French jazz, you know, like Manouche jazz swing, and he was dancing and splattering paint. It's fun, you know, it's good. And we think that the visual artists, you know, they need to be seen as well. So I hope that you enjoy that and that you come when there's a visual artist working. Or even just like to look at the art. I mean, it's pretty cool. All right, so please silence your cell phone and disable your flash. And when you're done with the evening and you're about to leave, just bring your stainless steel cup back to the bar so I can wash them. What else is there to say? The bathrooms are there. And who's performing tonight? Great. So we love that. We want more people to come. Just stand on or in front of that light portion of the carpet and you will be fine, okay? So if you go too far back here, well, first of all, we can't hear you on the stream and the recording anymore. And we can't, sometimes if you're tall enough, your head will disappear. So, because the camera is not as smart as our eyes and cannot see in the dark, and this looks just black on camera. So anything else? I need to, yeah, no flash, yeah, I said that. Yeah. What's that? Keckler. Oh, I haven't gotten there yet. Oh, yeah. So there's a few things that you need to know. So first of all, who has not found the perfect Halloween date night next week? Raise your hand if you. Well, you have now, because Friday and Saturday, Joseph Keckler is performing here. So you will not see Joseph anywhere in Florida unless you come here next weekend, because he travels the world. He is, who knows Joseph Keckler? Anybody? Okay. So he came once to open for Lydia Lunch. You guys know Lydia Lunch, probably. All right. So he upstaged Lydia Lunch.
Oh, no way!
And that's hard to do. So he might be the most incredible talent I've ever seen. He's a composer, opera singer, actor, author now, published author. What else? Actor, I said. He's a comedian for sure. You and your date, even if you bring more than one date, that's okay. Will enjoy yourself. I guarantee it. It's a one-man show. It's a Halloween special. It's going to be really, really good. Friday and Saturday. Don't miss that. There's all kinds of other stuff. We have a lot of new music coming up. Also, we have an all-female, on November 1st, all-female, get out the vote, like they do they're gonna do, I think, music that relates to the suffragettes and all that stuff, like civil rights, all that stuff. It's gonna be really good. They're very good. They've performed here several times before, but you may not know them. Six like classically trained singers, who are all female. They with piano sometimes. They sound fantastic. And with our acoustic control system, we can give them the room they deserve, and it's really, really awesome. I hope you come for that. And we have like a tribute to Chick Corea coming up in November. We have like, I don't want to say, but an indigenous festival of some kind that's shaping up, I hope. And then we also have like a tribute to Tony Bennett, all kinds of stuff, like a holiday show in December, and a Haitian-led jazz quintet. That's our last show of the year. It's going to be fantastic. So like, there's a lot going on. 22 more shows. It's not a lot of shows in number, or events, but they're like the variety and diversity is awesome. So I hope you catch as many of them as you can. Anything else I need to say? No. Well, there is something else. So it's okay if you put money in that bowl, right? I just want to just release you from the. You may feel awkward, maybe, or you're not sure, like, oh, maybe it's not, polite to leave money in the bowl. It's okay. We won't get mad. If you have $50,000 in your pocket, you can put it in the bowl. Like, we need support. We need your help. Don't take this for granted, because we need the community support for it to happen and to keep happening and thrive. So please, please support us. And please help me welcome the great, the one and only Lauren White!
Decision and wore my flip-flops, so hopefully I do not fall, but if I do, don't laugh, please. So I'm going to start a little backwards for the open mic. One, if you have not checked in with me, please let me know, although I think I've gotten everybody. We have a lot of folks, so as usual, we'll try to go as quickly as possible. Please stay within your 5 minutes. Cannot get to everybody. So what I'm trying to do lately, as I've said before, is give priority to people that are new, that haven't performed before, or that didn't go last month, that kind of thing. And Simran is kind enough to be doing the open mic for me tonight last minute, because I have a headache. And I'm really grateful that I have you guys, and I can ask you for those things at the last minute. It really does mean a lot to me. But I'll still be feeding her names. So thank you for that. Appreciate you. Tonight we have our featured poet is Queen Majeeda, and I'm really excited because she's a Jamaican poet, and the first Jamaican poet I've heard. And I'm half Jamaican. My father is Jamaican. Half my family is Jamaican. So hearing poetry in patois is really exciting for me. She is a published poet and recording artist. She moved to New York and has done several projects, including her debut album called Conscious. She's recorded several other albums. She's done a few EPs, a couple of anthologies, not a couple. She's done a lot. She's published a lot of things. She also recited and won second prize in a competition for her performance of the poem, say it for me? Okay, thank you. Written by French singer and poet Boris Vian? I should have read this with you, oh my goodness. At the York College Foreign Language Poetry Competition. She has toured the United States doing recitals, workshops, lectures on college campuses, schools, libraries, churches, and cafes, as well as...
Is it an insect?
Am I okay?
I think it's gone.
Okay. You guys will tell me, right? Like, I know I got voices in my head, but good Lord. Okay. My favorite part of this, Majeeda is listed in the Who is Who in Jamaican Arts and Entertainment and has been a nominee for the Jamaica Music Industry Award in the category of Female Poet of the Year. Welcome, Queen Majeeda.
Thank you, Lauren, for that introduction. Thank you, everyone, for your warm welcome. I'm going to start. My first 2 poems will be poems that I wrote while I was living in Jamaica, and the first one is called Love Personified. And I wrote this poem one day when the phone rang. I remember being in my mother's bedroom, and I guess I had planned to write while being there because I wrote this poem right after the phone call. I remember the phone rang, and when I answered it, it was an acquaintance. I didn't really know her well, but she called me. You know, her heart was broken because her significant other, the father of her child, was seeing someone else. And this is like, again. So, you know, after crying with her, when I hung up the phone, I just felt so heartbroken for her. And I felt her pain, and this poem came right up because I was sitting on my mother's bed, and I remember the mirror being right there. And so I wrote this poem. I turned to the mirror so that I could stare at myself and wallow in self-pity, because you love not only me, but several others. Then why do I yearn for love when love is so cruel? I sat down in front of the mirror so that I could stare at myself and cry. But I beheld such beauty, and I asked, why? Why should I cry? Why should I get these beautiful bright eyes swollen and red? Why should I get my face tear-stained to smear the coolness of my complexion? I told myself, no. Being the aesthetic that I am, I hate to spoil true beauty, so I didn't cry. I thanked my maker instead, for in the mirror I beheld the beauty of his creation. I am love personified. And you are love personified. Thank you. And thank you. This next poem is called Man in the Environment. I remember when I was writing for my debut album, it's titled Conscious, I wanted to, you know, include things that we were going through as Jamaicans. And I remember at one point that the island was going through a drought. There was no rainfall for like months, and the powers that be decided that they were gonna seed the cloud. Now, cloud seeding, if you've never heard about that, is like using aircraft to push like rain clouds to the area where you want rain to fall. And sometimes airports do it also to clear the air if there's too much rain clouds in the air and they want the runway to be dry. So anyway, at the time they wanted rain all over the island because it was an all-island drought. But instead, the western part of the island was flooded out so much that this area called New Market in Westmoreland was flooded out, and the people had to migrate, they had to move. So I remember that occurrence, and I decided to include it in my poem, and it's called Man in the Environment, because the things that we do to like mess up the environment and then we try to fix it. What is wrong with man can't be satisfied. The other day, them start complaining, true we never get no rain. So them decide to see the cloud. Then came the flood, and the people them in Westmoreland have to turn nomads. Well, the day them get well out, no. So them start remember how. Them chop and burn down the trees, and now them long for the little breeze. So them look back with regret. We have to go plant up some trees, them say. But remembering them going to take a while to grow, them start fret. Cause the soil they road and the tree them are dead. So what we going to do instead? Can't think of anything yet. Then after years of use of aerosol spray, pop! There goes a hole in the ozone layer and global warming take over. Cut down on the use of sprays themselves. Let's use something else to kill those annoying pests. And in the meantime, we run some tests. But what about the hole in the ozone layer? It's getting bigger and we fear skin cancer. Can't do anything about that, no. But not to worry anyhow. We're always inventing. We'll come up with something. Now them issue a conservation code. Save our environment and enjoy the beauty and wonder of nature. Ah, yes. That would be a pleasure. But that can stay till later. We have unfinished business to take care of. We're going to have to build a house on the moon to put an end to population boom. And maybe we can have factories up there, since the smoke pollute this atmosphere. But why can't man realize that the damage is all their fault? And that it was due to ignorance on their part? And since the damage has already been done, there can only be one solution. And that is to educate each other and cure the ignorance. We have to play our little part. And that, of course, will be a start in securing what is left of this planet.
Yeah.
There's the woman the whole town has been talking about. Act like you don't see her, she's coming this way. No, wait, some men are dragging her. Where are they taking her? She's nothing but trouble. Trouble on the double. Adulteress, I heard one say. Does she even have a name? I've never heard anyone call her by her name. They dragged her to the wise judge. This woman has been caught in the very act of immorality. Take a guess. Look at her. She was committing adultery. By herself? I wonder. It takes two to tango, does it not? The wise judge stooped down and wrote in the sand. Then he stood up and addressed the men. Who is without sin? Cast the first stone. He stooped down again and continued writing in the sand. Then the men started leaving one by one. With faces filled with shame, they quietly left, dogs with their tails between their legs. What did he write? I wanted to know. Oh, he knows their hidden works, that what they accused her of was part of a plot they too were guilty of, and many more things that they couldn't stand to read as he stood there recording their evil deeds. The wise judge stood up and saw that they were all gone. Where are your accusers? Has no man condemned you? She said, no man, Lord. Neither do I. Go and sin no more. For the first time in a long while, she felt like a human being. Isn't this Mary Magdalene? She walked away rejoicing. She walked away free from shame. Thank you. Thank you. And this poem is the one that Lauren mentioned that I entered the foreign language competition at your college. And it's called The Deserter. It's about a soldier who was called up. So he was drafted to go to war before Wednesday evening, and he doesn't want to go. So he wrote a letter to the president saying why he doesn't want to go. He's not here to kill poor people, he says, and he's just going to desert. So he'll be on his way, he said, in the morning, and he's going to just close the door on these dead years, because he says he's seen his father die, he has seen his brothers leave for the war, they didn't come back, and his children cry. And he said his mother, she has suffered so much. Right now she's in the tomb and she's mocking the bombs, he says. When he was a prisoner, they stole everything that was precious to him, his wife, even his soul. So he says, I'll be on my way tomorrow, Mr. President. If it's blood you want to give, why don't you give yours? You're a good saint, he says, Mr. President. If you decide to come after me, you can tell your police that I won't be armed so they can shoot. So I'm going to do that in French for you now. Monsieur le Président, je vous fais une lettre que vous l'aurez peut-être, si vous avez le temps. Je viens de recevoir mes papiers militaires pour partir à la guerre avant mercredi soir. Monsieur le Président, je ne ferai pas l'affaire. Je ne suis pas sur terre pour tuer des pauvres gens. C'est pas pour vous fâcher. Il faut que je vous dise, ma décision est prise. Je m'en vais déserter. Depuis que je suis né, j'ai vu mourir mon père, j'ai vu partir mes frères, épouser mes enfants. Ma mère a tant souffert qu'elle est dedans ses tombes, et se moque des bombes, et se moque des mœurs. Quand j'étais prisonnière, on m'a volé ma femme, on m'a volé mon âme, et tout mon cher passé. Demain de bon matin, je fermerai la porte au nez des années mortes. J'irai sur les chemins. Je monterai ma vie sur les routes de France, de Bretagne en Provence, et je dirai aux gens, refusez d'obéir, refusez de le faire, n'allez pas à la guerre, refusez de partir. S'il faut donner son sang, allez donner le vote. Vous êtes Bonaparte, monsieur le président. Si vous ne me poursuivez, prévenez vos gendarmes que je n'aurai pendant et qu'ils pourront tirer.
Yeah.
Thank you, and my apologies to any French speaker in the house.
They're in the back.
They're in the back. Okay. All right, so this poem I'm about to do, I wrote it in celebration of Black History Month, and it's called Our Glorious Past. There was a time when we walked this earth with such glory, such dignity. We were in our own land, and we were kings and queens, princes and princesses. We held our heads high. We were noble, a royal nation. Ours was a land civilized, so civilized we ruled with each other and not over each other. There was religious liberty in the land of nobility, till the raiders came and forced unto us what they call Christianity. And our history, we wrote our own history and told our own stories. It was as we lived it. We gave civilization to this world. We gave art, science, and literature too. But what have we gotten in return? In return, we were robbed. We fell into the hands of thieves, and they hold today what we had yesterday. This exchange was not our plan. Why did we become servants when we were rulers? Why is a stranger now our master? Remember now our history, way, way beyond slavery. Remember now, lest we forget. Don't say the Middle Passage journey was too horrifying and long. To remember where we're coming from, and thinking ourselves as mere descendants of slaves, forgetting the legacy our ancestors gave. A culture so rich was to be passed on to Africa's children, heirs to the many thrones. So many kingdoms, yet we were not divided. The land was ours, the food and the resources it provided. Medical science and astronomy were all parts of that legacy. This is where our roots lie, in things noble and dignified. We have to go back to our roots, find out for ourselves what is truth. We no longer accept their lies, bury them because the truth must rise. A civilized nation did not come and find a nation of savages. Savages instead came and found a civilized nation and stole what we had for documentation. But they could not destroy our oral tradition. We found what we have lost. What was lost was stolen. The history of our glorious past. We found it, and now we reclaim it. It's ours.
All right.
Thank you. And I'm going to leave you with a poem called Social Media Dilemma. And it's one woman's battle with the algorithm. Yes. And what it's doing to her mental health. And ask me how I know so much. Okay. I'm quitting social media. It's a time stealer like no other. rob you of your time with loved ones and God. So why bother? Oh, for marketing and networking, you asking to see my follower account? My worth is in my follower account. Sign up for this course to learn how to attract more followers. Money back guaranteed if it don't work for you like how it worked for me. Paul, me want back me $1,000. Them me a fake follower. Them not like me post, them just a make up number. Paul ignore me, so me block him and post 3-4 times a day like Hootsuite say. How many people like my posts? Did it perform as good as the last one? No. It's like nobody knows it. It's 2 a.m. and I just woke up. Let me see how many likes and comments I got. That's more important than sleep. I spent all day making that video and Instagram not running that reel. Post this reel. Oh no, show it for free. Over 6,000 saw the last one for free. Why do I need to boost this reel? The video I wanted to show at 4, TikTok they said them not show it till the next morning. And now my follower them gonna work. Them not on TikTok in the morning, them they work. I write poems and Facebook only want to see my face. A poem without my face is a poem nobody press like for. And the men compliment my looks, but not the style of the poem. The man them take social media for dating side. Please, no more DMs, please. Who is in for a writer's lift? It's shameless self-promotion there on Twitter. Follow for follow and like for like. Hashtag this and hashtag that. But after them get me likes and my follow, it's like them can't see nothing on my post after. Now you know only why one person like me tweet. As long as there's a like button, I'll press it, even if it's my one post or my one reel or my one tweet. And I try Clapper, but don't even get me started about Clapper. Let's just say it's a very different world over there. And that's all I'll say. Perhaps you'll figure it out. But now that I've stopped posting on Clapper, I'm getting likes and comments and followers. So go figure. Social media strategy is really not for everybody. It no work for me, so now you see why I have to quit. Now me we get more sleep and I have to worry about creating content to keep current. Social media is a time thief and follower account really don't matter in the grand scheme of things. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok and Clapper, I quit. But probably this point we go viral. So maybe stick around. TikTok, you see? More than 200 views, please. Well, hello, Threads. You look just like my ex named Twitter. I'm not quitting social media.
Thank you, Majeeda. One more round of applause. I don't even know what Clapper is, man. I've never heard of that. So you're already doing better than the rest of us, I guess. Because you know why? You guys want to know why I'm on Instagram? For you. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. So just real quick, I want to say again, thank you to Simran for doing the open mic for me. I'm not going to take pictures tonight. I am going to ask that you guys take pictures and video. I want to just be present and hear everything that you're saying tonight. I have also realized that by the time I get through filtering through my pictures, you guys have posted everything already. So please take your pictures and your videos. Please tag Timuqua. Please tag myself, tag Leah, hashtag Timuqua Arts, and we'll start with the open mic. Thank you.
Give it up one more time for Lauren Anderson.
I just want to say really appreciated that set. I feel like the social media dilemma was like the angel and devil on my shoulders, just having an internal dialogue. I also really want to say I really appreciated that because it was a masterclass in using poetry to answer the who, what, when, where, why. I think sometimes what I struggle with is like I just dive right into the metaphor, and I fail to really acknowledge the context around it. So I really appreciate that. I learned so much. I will also say that Lauren is not taking pictures. I will take pictures. So if your social media algorithm is slower than mine, feel free to message me and I will try to get you your pictures as quickly as possible. So we'll start with our first 3 open mic speakers. One last thing. Just so that we can get through everyone today, we're asking that speakers keep their sets to 5 minutes long. We'll see how the time goes. Maybe we'll have some extra time at the end. But to start, we'll ask that you keep it 5 minutes long. So we'll start with Ian, and then Parto and Jillian in the wings? Wings, that's what it's called. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Ian, and thank you to Simran. I like having Simran up here. I'm Lauren. I am going to be terribly rude after I perform, and I apologize for this because I'm going to have to take off. I didn't have long here tonight, and I largely came out to promote 2 things, though I do want to say this is a wonderful thing, and I'm always very happy that this is happening, and I love Tim McQuaw so very much. But 2 nights that I just want to try and get you guys out to. One, October 30th at 1010 Brewing. Do any of you know 1010 Brewing? It's on Virginia Avenue, Virginia and Mills. At 1010 Brewing, that is the new home of a night called Campfire. It is an open mic without a mic. We sit around in a circle. We just sort of share whatever anybody brings. It can be poetry, stories, songs. We often wind up just in sort of heavy conversation, so you know it's just what happens. But anyway, so that is October 30th at 7 p.m. at 1010 Brewing. And then on November 5th, which should be a very important day in everybody's mind here, I really hope. On November 5th, it happens to fall on also the first Tuesday of the month is Loose Lips at Little Indies. It is a politically themed poetry night. I'm going to be one of the readers. There are a couple other on the list. It'll be people venting a lot of, I think, what we'll be feeling that night. So again, please come on out to that. With that, the piece I'm going to read you now is one of those poems. I very rarely have occasion to write these, but this is one of those poems that, like, you write to your ex that you don't say aloud, but sexy people are the only good people on earth. The highest virtues are gyration and flesh and backing that thing up. Spread legs are more moral than closed knees. Long tongues, fat cocks, and cleavage like canyons are the only proof of God's light. But it is the way that you flaunt them that makes them holy. I didn't want to be loved by you. I wanted to be blocked because you couldn't trust yourself when you saw my posts. I wanted you to hand your phone to your friends and say, no matter how drunk I get, do not let me text him. I didn't want you to say a positive word about me, but to think about me relentlessly when you are trying to sleep. I have this theory that you have to hate something somehow, some way, in order to want to fuck it. Or you have to hope that it hates you just a little to turn you on. I like this theory. It means that you couldn't find any part of me to hate. I like this theory because it doesn't hurt anyone for me to have it, and you don't need to know I'm thinking it. But the problem is, I'm pretty sure it's wrong. I think I'm the only one of your lovers that you've ever hated, and you hate it.
I'm a little nervous. This is my first time up here. I'm going to read you 3 poems if there's time from my book, Seeking and Surrendering, Poetry on Soul, Self, and a Puzzling Life. All the poems I'd written for myself, and I decided to be my authentic self and share it. So here I am. This is called Waterfall or Landing. It was from a dream I had. I woke up and I had to write this down to be able to deal with the experience. Caught in the current, taken to the extremes, pounding against the rocks, bleeding and healing, bleeding and healing, salty taste feathered with the white powdery water, swimming endlessly, fearing the day, fearing the night. Where am I heading? Is it a waterfall? Is it a landing? Caught in the whirlpool, going down and down, breathing in and out, swimming with the current, swimming against the current, seeing the trees, grabbing for branches, swallowing water, spitting out life, fearing the day, fearing the night. Where am I heading? Is it a waterfall? Is it a landing? Turning over, seeing others turn over, without livelihood, without passion, one day after next, one night after other, zombies on the rolling ride, aimless, gameless, grasping for survival, fearing the day, fearing the night. Where am I heading? Is it a waterfall? Is it a landing? Swallowing the white powdery water, tasting the salt, jolting me to life, floating, breathing deep, calming down. Where am I heading? Is it a waterfall? Is it a landing? Thinking of the end, what it might be like, gazing at the unending sky above, with no aspirations, with no attachments, with no expectations, with no judgments. Where am I heading? Is it a waterfall? Feeling land under my feet, wondering if a mirage, cautiously standing up, seeing far, unimaginable greatness all around. Sweet beauty in every breath, serenity in my heart. I am in the clear, on a secure landing, leaving the waterfall far behind. No more swirling aimlessly, no more fear, enjoying the gift with open heart, with clear mind, just being. It is heaven all around. This second poem is, I wrote it because recognizing the history that we all have from the lands we come from, and sometimes this history is not a pleasant one. And we actually heard a beautiful poem about that, about Africa. So I apologize for this one. Burdens we carry. We all have burdens we carry, from discrimination to missed opportunities, from prejudices to aggressions, from hatred to atrocities, all for justifiable reasons. So many places, traditions, so many races, faces, all on the planet Earth, all from one source. We all have burdens we carry, holding us back in fear, piercing into our hearts, feeling blamed, disrespected, abandoned, shaming us to submission, to bury our gifted selves. We carry the burdens of our ancestors as ours. Some hide in the comfort of the known, hoping not to be found. We are all one, living for love, living for a connection that has no bound. We risk our lives for freedom, for a chance of a better life. We work hard to fit in, to succeed, to be worthy of the chance, yet we long to belong. We are born members of the cosmos. We are one in the brilliance of life. We are coded to each other. We are from the history that is behind us. We are from the future that is yet to be lived. Our lives are intertwined. One should be a friend, helping us grow together, sharing the paths, helping us feel welcomed. Believe that we are one. Help us carry our burden. Help us build a life filled with love. Help us unburden the future for all. Let us love. This last one is called Freedom, my version. Let freedom truly be. Let me feel the air without a fearful breath. Let me dance in the streets flying high. Let me raise a flag, any flag, but mostly white. Let me see your land wherever you are. Let me share my beliefs, crazy or righteous. Let me shake your hand, colorblind, color aware. Let me sing in my native tongue or sing with you. Let me say any thought without retribution or judgment. Let me get wet in the rain and burn under the sun. Let me hear you out, whichever side you are. Let me feel pain and joy to live life. Let me be me, whoever I need to be. Let me catch my breath, slow my heart, watch the clouds go by. Let me live, let me love, let me meet my soul. Let me be one with you, anywhere, anytime. Let me be free of you, with you.
Salutations, or hello, how are you? Yeah, my name is Jillian, with the J. So, I'm here tonight, and it seems as if we're all on the same wavelength because we're addressing the same matter. So here's my matter. I'm from a northern place in Florida. I don't care to divulge. Right. And there used to be a saying that people would give me, except me, and I'm sure other people have heard this. And it's a saying that says, pretty for a black girl. It's kind of a backhanded compliment. And if you go into any public, I like Publix, a grocery store, they have brown bags. And based on the hue of your skin, this brown bag, if you were lighter than a brown bag, you were considered valuable. If you were darker than a brown bag, maybe not so valuable. So, this is my poem, Pretty for a Black Girl. Pretty for a black girl, head full of curls, full of knockers and beads. Oh my, how you glisten. That girl is pretty for a black girl. Racism, the gnashing of teeth, the burning of flesh, a backwards self-esteem stealer. Oh my, how you glisten. Pretty for a black girl. Pretty black child. Could you hear me? Pay attention. Overstand this prism. Backwards ass compliment, fueled out of hate. That girl, what girl? She. Undermining sideways compliment, undermining as if black don't crack. Oh my, how you glisten. Continue, glisten. And how you stand righteously against racism. That girl, black woman, how you have stood against the face of racism. Continue to glisten. That girl is pretty for a black girl. Thank you, I appreciate that. This is my first time ever being on. All right, this one is called Top of the World. Top of the world, the ladder that reaches the highest mountain and swims the ocean where it all began. I've loved you infinitely. A light from heaven descends and guides you my way, my love. My heart opens, my blue flame ignites. I am the connection to the spiritual realm, bringing heaven to earth. My mind is the manifesto of every lucid dream. Never felt home until it was home. The air ceases to be confused about race and politics, about right and wrong. Never run into a sundown town that I didn't belong. Dinner by moonlight, oh how the wind speaks, rolling inland once in a lifetime. White and blush pink. Come sail away with me out into the deep. I've never known a love so strong. No space, no time. I love you for my life. You are a friend of mine.
On purpose, but when I was taking pictures of you and then like briefly skimming through them again, you were like always doing a different pose, and like going through them, it's literally poetry in motion. It was really great. Our next three poets are Nairobi, Primo, and Sparrow.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Nairobi Fowler. I'm a poet and a writer. I belong to Tertulia Cuatro Gatos. I've been writing since 2015. I have two published poetry books and working on my third one. I was kind of debating about saying it in Spanish or English. How many bilingual we have in here?
French.
Oh my gosh, okay, I don't know, I don't speak French. I went really quick and translated the poem that I was going to say to English. However, when you write in Spanish and you translate it, kind of lose that fluidity and rhythm. I'm gonna say it in Spanish first, and then I will say it in English. The poem is simply about broken souls trying to find each other and love each other. So in Spanish, no sé cómo conjugarte. Siempre me atacaba esa paradoja sentimental al tratar de conjugar el verbo amar y utilizarlo junto a tu imagen. No sé cómo si te amaba ayer o te amaba entonces, o si te amaré mañana o te estaría amando ahora. Solo sé que te amaba de una forma indescriptible y no conjugable. Frente a otros ojos eras simple, roto y quizás hasta mundano. Frente a mis ojos eras luz. Eras eternidad, eras todo. A veces me sentaba sola a esperar que salieses de aquel edificio opaco y escondido entre las sombras de la ciudad. Tú siempre fingías no notarme y yo vivía añorando de algún día lo hicieras. Llevabas siempre el rostro triste y cargabas la espalda como quien lleva 1000 dolores y 1000 penas y aún así yo te amaría. Me imaginaba tu cuerpo sentado junto al mío en aquella banca solitaria del solitario parque. Me imaginaba tus manos jugando con mi escote mientras yo, con mis besos, me empeñaba en dibujarle una sonrisa a tu boca. Yo te amaría siempre porque el verbo amar vivía conjugado en todos los tiempos y de forma extraña en el medio de mi pecho. A veces caminabas con la cabeza baja y la cabellera espesa rebosando sobre tu frente. Llevabas los ojos escondidos tras tu mirada, lánguida, perdida, en el asfalto y en el sonido de tus zapatos desabrochados. Yo te amaba hermoso, inalcanzable, y en esa mundana y simple forma de tu ropa y de tu piel, yo te amaría. Tú ibas roto, ajeno a mi incongruente forma de aliviar mis sentimientos y mi hambre de ti. Eras ese misterio que me llenaba las noches y la vida, el perfume penetrante de lo inhumano, la intolerable existencia del dolor de este mundo. Tú eras mis ganas de existir y de besarte hasta la esencia. Eras esa espina que crece agujerando las costillas y las ganas, y aún así yo te amaría. Tú eras el deseo de descubrirte, eras la sal caliente del mar quemándome las pupilas y la piel. Tú eras mi verdad, pues yo también iba rota, mundana y pues yo también incongruente con la vida y con el mundo. Y te amaría y te amaba en una ciudad donde nunca me supiste y yo siempre te supe, caminando sobre un asfalto donde éramos congruentes, nada simple, nada de mundanos.
Yeah.
I hope the English version is as good. I don't know how to conjugate you. That sentimental paradox always attacks me when I'm trying to conjugate the verb to love and use it together with your image. I don't know if I love you yesterday or I love you then, or if I will love you tomorrow or if I will be loving you now. I only know that I love you in an indescribable and unjugable way. In front of the other eyes, you were simple, broken, and perhaps even mundane. In front of my eyes, you were light, you were eternity, you were everything. Sometimes I will sit alone, waiting for you to come out of that opaque building, hidden in the shadows of the city. You always pretended not to notice me, and I live longing for one day you would. You always wore a sad face and carry your bag like someone who carries 1,000 pains and 1,000 sorrows, but I will still love you. And imagine your body sitting next to mine on that lonely bench in the lonely park. I imagine your hands playing with my neckline while with my kisses, I tried to put a smile on your lips. I will always love you because the verb love live conjugated all the times in a strange way in the middle of my chest. Sometimes you walk with your head down and your thick hair resting on your forehead. Your eyes were hidden behind your languid gaze, lost in the asphalt and the sound of your unbuttoned shoes. I love you, beautiful, tireless, and in that mundane and simple form of your clothes and your skin, I will love you. You were broken, oblivious to my incongruous way of relieving my feelings and my hunger for you. You were that mystery that filled my nights and my life, the penetrating perfume of the pain and the inhuman, the intolerable wear existence of the pain of this world. You wear the core, you wear the thorn that grows, piercing the ribs and the desire, and I will still love you. You wear somehow the hot salt of the sea burning my pupils and my skin. You wear the truth because I was also broken, mundane, and simple, incongruent with the life in the world. And I will love you, and I will love you in a city where you never know me. And I always knew you, walking on the asphalt where we were congruent, nothing simple and nothing worldly. Thank you.
My name is Primo Santana. I've been here a bunch of times. I love this place. So my poem's kind of short, so I just want to do a little bit of an intro for it. When I started writing this poem, I actually wrote it at the beginning of the month. I was actually starting to write a completely different poem. I was in this kind of rapidy kind of like mood, and I wanted to kind of challenge myself linguistically. But as I was writing it, I kind of realized what the date was. And I realized that it was October 6th when I was writing it, and the next day was October 7th. And that was the year anniversary of the conflict, what's really going on, is really a genocide that's happening in Gaza. And as I was writing, I kind of just realized like what I was writing about was nowhere near as important as what was going on. So it ended up kind of just diverting the poem into something else. The name of this poem is called A Year Later, October 7th. Now normally when I rhyme, I decide to get rhythmically focused. I decide on punchlines to describe on how from time to time I like to get mine or talk about times to survive crimes or perhaps even committed them. Then I take my time with how I confine each stanza as if they were bars from the stars I had grew up on when I had written them. Talk about how parts of my life are hell, but feeling thankful that this poetic talent fell from heaven. And as I scribe this melodic session, I look at the date and realize it's about to be October 7th. All of a sudden, my problems seem meaningless. My penchant for using specific rhyme schemes seem monotonous and tedious. Sipping my own Kool-Aid in the moment as if I'm some poetic genius, meanwhile there's over 100,000 dead Palestinians. Now, I'm no theologian, but I can't see any Abrahamic faith deeming that a necessary amount of death by way of explosion. Can't be a fan of monotheistic faiths if you have any bit of comfort with over 15,000 children being sent to early graves. Now, at this point, there's no devil's advocate, no room for Zionistic outlooks that are indescribably inaccurate or even contrarian, because it's beyond imaginary lines on a white man's map. This crisis is purely humanitarian. Mothers and newly born babies' lives taken days or even hours after natural births or cesareans. The propaganda machine is working overtime, trying to constantly make it about the original Israeli hostages, while simultaneously ignoring the purposeful thinning of the Gaza Strip. Can't forget the West Bank, surrounded by Israeli tanks with US shells loaded with our tax dollars to thank. I just can't ignore the bodies being pulled from the rubble that remind me of my beautiful goddaughter. My tears rolling while I'm scrolling, thinking about what it must feel like to be a childless father. Now, just because this is talking about the anniversary of a current genocide doesn't mean we let the previous 75 plus slide. And after learning its significance and slightly more educated, my heart swells when I see the kafaya worn with pride. Unfortunately, the tide doesn't seem to be changing, because a year later, I'm seeing footage that's become a lot more familiar, but not any less bit enraging. Because the true oppressor's occupation hasn't been dispersed, 365 days later, the situation has become objectively worse. Because they're not gone, now there's bombardments and further turmoil in Iran, Syria, Turkey, and Lebanon. I wouldn't even claim to be an expert or a pro, but I know enough about being a human being to know the longer the world lets this go, the further desensitization will continue to grow. For any evidence of that, all we have to do is look at the lack of coverage of the genocides occurring in the Sudan, Haiti, or the Democratic Republic of Congo. It's a year later, no closer to peace, and the atrocities continue to grow and march on though. We as the freest nation have a responsibility to say something and act. Isn't that how all the patriotic depictions of us in movies and songs go? Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sparrow. This is my first everybody. As soon as I knew I was going to get to come tonight, there was a poem that I kept thinking, no, that's the one I'm going to do. And then as I was driving here, I just knew there was a different one that I had to do. And so in honor of spooky season and our beloved dead, this poem is about my grandparents who loved ghost stories. You're 3,000 miles away from where you want to be, so you get drunk and walk through the back streets and back alleys of San Francisco with a bottle in one hand and the stub of a joint clutched between thumb and forefinger of the other. You circle the blocks, not paying attention to your turns, but it's pretty hard for you to get lost in this city anymore. You know the neighborhoods by the architecture and can navigate by the weather. The sidewalk never ends here. You think about running, but instead you stumble and start to dance, too filled with drink to tune out the music tonight. You're trying to find a story, chasing an idea. An old woman passes peacefully in her sleep. At the gates of heaven, she's greeted by her husband, who had gone ahead of her 8 years earlier. What took you so long, he asked, leaning against a chrome and black motorcycle. She's too awestruck to answer when he calls out to her using a nickname she always claimed she hated in life. She laughs and then is surprised when she misses the moment. It would turn into a shudder rattling, rasping through her chest, the result of a decade of chain smoking. She leans on her tiptoes to kiss him on the cheek, inhales the scent of pomade slicked through his hair. One of these for me? She asks, tapping on the pack of cigarettes rolled up into the sleeve of his white t-shirt. He tucks his aviators into his pocket and pulls out an engraved silver Zippo, holding the flame out, cupped between hands. She blows out the smoke, asking, so where'd this boat I've been hearing so much about for so many goddamn years? His grin lights up his eyes, and he swings a leg over the motorcycle, kick-starting it to life with a growl. This road trip's just getting started. It still took miles till we reached the ocean. The sound of the engine fades, and you find yourself with your forehead pressed against red brick, fist-clutching bottle pressed into the wall. You push yourself up and start walking again, fishing for the Bic in your pocket. You decide you can't remain objective when recounting the tales of your grandparents who raised you on national park stamps and highway atlases, gave you a nickname to use over the CB radio and the bittersweet curse of wanderlust, that for a time gave you the courage to live on your thumb in a prayer. And a taste for greasy spoon breakfasts and retro roadside attractions. They met in a boarding house, and he used to knock on the floor to signal he was home and they should sneak out together. Eventually there was a shotgun wedding and 5 more children. He had a heart attack in his 30s and lived on disability for the rest of his days. All they ever seemed to do was fight. But after he died unexpectedly while patching a hole in their roof at the ripe old age of 73, she was never the same. And I learned for them, leave me be, meant you're mine forever, my darling. And take a long walk up a short pier was, I love you so much, my heart might burst from the saying of it. 3,000 miles away, you mourn her death in your own way and hope she knows all the stories you never got to share, and stumbled drunkenly through the city of San Francisco, thinking maybe, just maybe, when your grandparents threatened to leave you on the side of the road for the Jersey Devil, they were saying, be brave, kid, we love you.
Wow, that was so beautiful and moving. It was just like the little things in that, like the side of the road and the descriptions, and oh my god. I'm gonna be thinking about that for a while. Thank you, Sparrow. Our next 3 poets are Caitlin, Brennan, and Sam.
Hi guys. It's been like 6 months since I've been up here, so excited to be back. My name is Caitlin, and similar to someone else that came up here, I had a dream and I woke up and I just had to write it. So this is a short story about that dream. It's called Me and the Tree. I had a dream where instead of leaving me, you took me with you. You and I are on holiday together, hiking through a lush, humid rainforest. the Amazon perhaps. There's a group with us, other tourists perhaps, but they feel more familiar. I notice the way the soil feels springy, damp beneath my feet, the vibrant green of the foliage and the sounds of birds singing all around, heard but not seen. Most of all, though, I am keenly aware of the space between us, of the way you drift naturally to my side until we are bumping outer thighs and hips and sides of arms, of the way our walking slows until we come to a stop and gaze up in unison toward the canopies, conjoined in contentment. Someone, a friend perhaps, glances back and rolls her eyes, chuckling to herself at the sight of us before running ahead to catch up with the others. We stand still like this for only a few moments, the birds having gone quiet now, until inevitably you turn your eyes down, meet mine, and you kiss me. It's a half kiss, really, the kind that leaves plenty of room to grow, the kind born by attention from just existing near one another, so you tread lightly, innately aware of the current it carries. A kiss that makes you perceive the level of caution more commonly associated with dismantling a bomb. Where each building breath is pinpointed like the ticks of a combination safe, until finally someone commits, cuts the red wire, presses the dial, swings the heavy metal handle, and plunges their tongue past a depth that can be taken back. This one decision sparks a chain reaction, blowing past a safe temperature into a thermal runaway hotter than fire. The kind that feeds hastily on its own self-sustaining oxygen, the kind that can't be extinguished or expected to slow down. Until all there is pressure and ragged breathing and greedily grabbing at clothing to reach the skin beneath, the kind of kiss that requires you to lean up against something in order to remain upright. But the something you lean me up against isn't the right thing. It's a fallen tree at the edge of a 100-foot ravine. And in a single moment, you go from being pressed to every inch of me, firmly holding my face with both your hands to nothing but air. And I realize I'm falling alone. Except I'm not fully alone. The tree is still with me, my back still pressed evenly to it, and we're falling together, me and the tree. Pressed evenly to it, and we're falling together, me and the tree, in that slow motion, space-bending kind of way that reminds you you're still dreaming. While I fall, I never take my eyes off of you, as you watch on in helpless terror. Although, is it terror? Maybe just surprise. I'm not sure, but I have bigger things to worry about as I brace for impact, my death now imminent, only a few moments left. Until miraculously, the tree and I come to a sudden stop. Tightly wedged between either side of the now narrow ravine, only a few feet from the bottom, what a relief. I stand up carefully, balancing along the width of its trunk, and begin to wonder about how I'll find my way back up. But before the thought can take hold, you throw down a long black rope, one I don't recall you having before. I start to pull myself up with hands gripped painfully tight around the rough threads until I notice the rope has footholds, ones I don't recall seeing before. I start climbing and you start pulling, although not quite with your full strength. But I don't have the time to think anything of that. Because despite falling quite a long way and for quite a long while, it only takes about 5 footholds for me to reach the top. I heave myself over the ledge, crawl to my feet, and run to you, expecting a heartfelt embrace, with tears of concern at your eyes and a deep kiss. The kind that carries the combined pressure of all the smaller ones that preceded it. The kind that says, I love you, with no words needed. But there's none of that. You don't hold your arms wide to wrap me in safety. You reach for my shirt, again greedy. As if my fall was merely an inconvenience and now we can pick up where we had left off. I push myself back from you and the dream ends. I blink and somehow it's all gone. Gone with it, my illusion of our someday reunion. Correction, delusion.
Hi, Brendan. I guess it's my first time on the stage as well. And oftentimes I try to write within the last couple of hours before
any event because one, sometimes stuff starts getting on your page if you're listening to some really good poetry while doing so. Also, if I find if I work on poems for like a few days, you sometimes work on poems that really don't want to be dealt with, and then when you have a couple hours, you only deal with the poems that insist. Word of warning, might deal with self-harm and with parasocial non-relationships, because the fact that the parasocial means it's not. 2007, when I was kind of messed up, and I don't really know if I've ever not been messed up. So, my friend snores on the passenger side. 77 miles out of Gainesville, 68 miles to Orlando, and the gravity stays in my bones where it belongs. My friend was a conversationalist on the way up. Now on the way back, he is a shield. I've taken this trip before alone, and sometimes when the lights from the highway sneaks through the windows, points in your direction and says, "Found you," I feel the gravity try to escape. Out of my sockets, from my nostrils, from my pores, sliding down my arms, shimmering as the spotlight in her eyes, and pushing my wrists rightward, pushing the steering wheel rightward. I am so sick of my topography. Every time I go to Gainesville, every time I see her, I know the dimensions of the canyons inside of me. I know the whistling in my blood, that my heart hasn't beaten in hours, that it only echoes now. The only way to see her is to vaporize, to be little more than the shiver of a rivulet, the red spark of sand in a field of gold, to take full measure of whatever I can offer, which is to disappear and still be present. She is my map as a photo negative. She all spectrum, me all rotogravure. I listen to sports talk radio on the way back because it's made of gravel. Listen to the wrong song and you look over the edge of the wrong note and you may see yourself laying at the bottom of the most beautiful landscape you've seen in your entire life. Her existence is distance. Her composition is obstacle. The grace inside of her inerts on its path to me, twists and warps until it snaps. Have you ever heard light snap? I continue to drive. My friend continues to snore in the passenger seat 100 miles away. Somewhere, I assume, she sleeps the way imagined masterpieces do, full of storms and tribulations I can't possibly know about. And I drive. The clock on the dash reads 1 a.m. 1 a.m. is no good for me. I wonder if 1 a.m.'s ever been good for anybody.
How y'all doing? I go by the name San Alexander, aka San San. I came all the way from Melbourne to be here tonight. It's my first time being here. So if you got gas money, I'd need some gas money. But I was kind of stressed. I know I got 5 minutes, and I was gonna try to smash in multiple poems and stuff. But I'm gonna take my time, let y'all know who I am, and give you one good one. And hopefully, when I come back, y'all appreciate that. So I'm a host of a poetry show at home called Black on Black Rhyme. And at my show, we have a call and response. I hope y'all make me feel at home real quick. When I say back talk, y'all say talk back. Back talk. Talk back. Back talk. Talk back. Back talk. Talk back. Thank you. Somebody got it? All right. This poem is called, it's one of my favorite poems, one of my first poems I wrote, and it feels like a good poem to christen this place when I've been, for my first time performing here. It's called Invictus. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. Out of the night that covers me, contemplating discoveries, wishing for bliss, miss and dismiss and pray for recovery. I constantly try with hopes high in the presence of the dying. We're vying for spiritual luminescence. This Thunderous blunder, one wonders what one can muster. Packing a punch like snacks in a lunch, rather lackluster. Buster, broke, disgusted, can't be trusted. The type that tend to surround me, get these bastards from round me. You sound weak, inaudible, only your silence applaudable. I spit a silver line in hopes it guides me to a pot of gold. True to my flow and true to my goals. True to my roots, remaining black as it gets when viewing from pole to pole. Black as the blackest pit, active as activist, packing the blackest pistol, protagonist pumping the blackest fist, masking the madness this masochist meteor may present and pray as blessings rain and drown me in what is heaven sent. I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul and my monstrous flow, for under the bludgeonings of chance, my stanzas withstand the dance with death. Each breath is like a vortex of more hex, high debt, low checks, less love, more sex. Driving me out my mind, I find these lines reinforce my constructive design. Destruction is nothing when I start production. Compile my style with the will of the wild and a smile. Producing the sickness of vials of bile, mile for mile, flaming forever, burning intensely. My growth is exponential, so none shall condense me. They may bloody my crown, but down I am never. Kneel to no one. Mind sharp as a katana, so promote me to shogun. Cop back blow, one mind 2 times, thrice as nice. I roll 4 die once, and 5 of my foes die twice. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms, but the horror of the shade. And yet the menace of the years finds it shall find me unafraid. And it seems as time ticks, vice sticks. And the menace of the years brings tears, fears of disapproving leers from your peers. That shadow of doubt you're seldom without. Your reflection projects rejection with no discretion. But every day you're alive, you're learning, so each day is a life lesson. And time is of the essence. The illusion is its presence and its blissful acquiescence. Non-existent like the king paying homage to the peasant. So it's my pencil's propensity to portray what is potentially a positive perception of passion as it was meant to be. My art is the hardest, no starving this artist. Indulging in food for thought, it's a cognitive harvest. Serve me the fruit of faith, I devour knowledge delectable. You say I'm out my mind, I say you're brain dead, vegetable. I fear nothing but fear itself and repercussions. Fear made, erase the dark. I write the light, and you shall find me unafraid with words synonymous with gold and poetic justice bold. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. I shall.
The spotlights keep coming off, like I'm not doing that.
Turn it off, it's hot up there.
I thought maybe somebody was close to a light switch or something. If you want to close to a light switch, make sure you don't touch it just in case. Because I don't know. I think it's some ghost or something.
There's something okay. Whatever was growling at me earlier. Something's going on.
It's the gremlin. There are ghosts in here today. It got really real when Sansan took off his coat. Something triggered it. Okay, our next 3 poets today are Curtis, Peter, and Claver.
This poem gets a little heavy, so I'd actually like to start with a joke. How many fans of hip hop does it take to screw in a light bulb?
How many?
3. 1 to screw in the light bulb, and 2 to complain about how the old light bulb was so much better. I wrote this maybe a month ago about one of my heroes, or one of my newfound heroes, and the first thing I want to say is to all the poets in the building, write about your heroes. Sometimes they're in their families, sometimes they're celebrities, sometimes they're fictional characters. Write about your heroes. And like I said, I wrote this about a month ago, and I found out just yesterday, this is totally true, you can Google it. The city of Melbourne, Australia is erecting a statue to none other than B-Girl Reagan. This is, yeah, I thought. Just wait. This is called The Dancing Prophet of Nowhere.
I see Kabul, I see France, I see Talash in a B-girl stance. You can break bodies, but you can't break dance. You can break buildings, but you can't break. I see silver, I see gold, I see a story that needs to be told. So sit back, relax, let the saga unfold. Raygun's confident, but Talash is bold. Said white girls got confidence, but Talash is. Discovered breakdancing when she was just a kid. Hit through Afghanistan and Pakistan before moving to Madrid. Sometimes running for your life means staying off the grid. She survived 2 bombings to her studio where she was intended target, plus a 3rd attempt authorities finished before it started. You walked away from 2 explosions with body counts that were meant for you personally. I can't imagine the guilt. Tiptoeing over blood spilt, the safe spaces you built. Double toil and trouble. Remind them hip hop is for people of the rubble. I don't give a fuck about a cultural studies professor. Talk about the brown girl in Spain working days as a hairdresser. One gets checks from a college teacher in cultural studies. The other is cultural studies. Empires rise, empires crumble. I need stories like this to keep me humble. Throughout the desert sands to the bottom of the ocean, I make my words dance, your bodies, poetry in motion. I watch the clips, the retweets, the memes. I'd rather talk about a brown girl's dreams. How she rose up from ash to snag a spot on the team. The sure shot, the up rock, the kick step, the flare. Refugees don't have a country. She's the dancing prophet of nowhere. I don't give a fuck about a white girl's message. I don't give a fuck about some Aussie unaware of her privilege, or if breaking ever comes back to the Olympics. B-girl Talash, you taught me the meaning of authentic. Every 9/11 they say hashtag never forget, but Talash strikes a pose without breaking a sweat. Watch how quickly America forgets. Remind them the Taliban is still a threat. Bet. They say it ain't where you're from, but where you at. But where you at means putting where you're from on the map. Ain't no half-stepping. Hip-hop is about the repping. You put everything you represent upon your back. You put purpose across your back. Even as their stones, blades, and bullets promise attack, you are the living, breathing personification of fuck that. I don't care about who's beefing or halftime at the Super Bowl. All I know is she's the definition of rock and roll, the true definition of tough. She survived 2 bombings as if one wasn't enough. Each generation bursts champions. Every era gets a hero. You look like a dead ringer. Stormbringer, you transformed your body into a middle finger. Beyond all the fanfare and corporate advertisement, you took dance and weaponized it. Past the toe tags, the body bags, more than one attempt at murder. An instrument of oppression, you fashioned a battle flag from a burqa. Beyond attempts at murder, hashtags and body bags, you turned your body to a flag. Swag. You are more hip-hop and punk rock than any of us will ever be. Please, God, let there be heaven for a refugee. Show medals ain't shit if your people ain't free. Said medals ain't shit if the people ain't free. Godspeed, your resilience, you're the definition of metal to me. You teach us. You gotta go out, never go quietly. I just want you to know you inspire me. Some kick up clouds of dust, some kick verses and stanza. Amongst smoke screens and propaganda, there will always be a Cassandra. So fuck your chapbook, your album, your entire mixtape. If you make art for the cash and not means to help others escape, across her shoulders she draped her whole red beating heart as a cape. Fuck you old head NY purist in chat rooms, listing off your favorite rhymers without once bringing up the name of a single woman or girl. Let the past be the past, the future be the future. It's been 50 years, gatekeepers. Hip-hop belongs to the world. They say rappers these days don't know how to stay fresh. I say B-Girl Talash's hip-hop history in the flesh. I see fires, I see bombs. The Taliban insists women dancing desecrates the will of Islam. Music provides bombs and alms for our qualms. Said music provides bombs and alms for our qualms. I'm C-Love and I'm here to say every form of dance is a form of ballet. Fuck your hobby, your talents. If you came to play, don't dare step into the arena if you didn't come to slay. Don't you step into the spotlight without point to prove. Poets live by their words. You were willing to die by your moves. She gave others a voice. And even though you took the DQ, I still gotta shout out the Superior's crew. It was never about you. Free Afghan women, she wrote that, spoke that in the plural. You don't deserve songs. You deserve statues and murals for the concrete stepped over. All the hells you've lived through, you lived You deserve so much more than my rhymes can give you. For every minefield crossed, the horrors you've lived through, you deserve more than my poems can give you. They argue if B-girls and B-boys even belong in the Olympics. Talash, you showed us embodiment of authentic. Every hobbyist who touches stage ought to be reminded your craft ain't shit if you're not willing to die behind it. So fuck all the trophies and publishing, the quest for top prize. Your art ain't shit if it can't be weaponized. Too many poets been executed by those who preferred. We beat unheard. Prima ballerina assoluta, you pissed off the right people without saying a word. Top rock to windmill, floor routine backspin. You remind us, if I don't dance, then the bad guys win. If none of us get up, we let our haters win. They tell me poems about flowers ain't in this year. I say, fuck that. Give your heroes their flowers while your heroes are still here. Never will you hear me complain that my life ain't fair. My friend used to be a dancer, now she's in a wheelchair. Because of you, I will dance as long as I'm able. For those who can't dance, knowing dancing gets fatal, knowing our enemies take our joy to be insult, till my body gives out and my limbs convulse. Dance like every dance is last dance, that's word of my people in pulse. The wildest part of the story is that her story ain't done. Living legend, refugee Olympian at the age of 21. I've seen prophets, I've seen martyrs. So she changed the world just for starters. You changed my life just for starters. Every day I pray you're not martyred. For every life like mine you empowered. Every day I pray you don't get devoured. You are every opposite of a coward. Let it be known, hip hop has arrived. Fuck your top 5. B-girl Talash is the hardest motherfucker alive. They might rock it hard, but Talash rocks it hardest. You make me want to be an artist. Millions tuned in around the globe with crosshairs aimed square at your head. Your art don't mean shit if they don't want you dead. Friends, our art don't mean shit if they don't want us dead. You showed me my art don't mean shit if they don't want me dead. I see tyrants, I see fools. Some drop science, some drop jewels. Casual reminder to keep the arts in schools. The villains wish to purge music and the arts from schools. You might say terror's over there, admit the Taliban is cruel, but we are not so far removed from fundamentalist rule. Fly through the fires, the dirt, the smoke, and the mud. Music ain't got a body if the soul ain't got the blood. Look, Ma, no strings. You got your issues, but Talash got wings. How many of us evoke the ghost of hip-hop and have actually seen it? How many say, hip-hop saved my life, but you actually mean it? I don't care who's a rapper and who's the MC. Tell me, is there heaven out there for a refugee? I don't care about who's rated or who's got bars. Talk about a brown girl's scars, running beneath stars for the border. How she fled home base with her brother, now lives in Spain with her mother. I see Kabul, I see France, I see Talash in a B-girl stance. You can break bodies, but you can't break dance. You can crush spirit, but you can't break. You can break towers, but you can't break. You can break our hearts, but you can't break. I see silver, I see gold. Hip-hop, you don't stop, a half century old. 3 Stacks said, what's cooler than cool, let it be foretold. Ray Gun's confident, but my girl T is cold. Y'all don't hear me. I said my hero's ice cold. White girl got the lights, but the best stay bold. Game recognized, game real, recognized real. Art's supposed to be more than hollow ideals. Art's a conduit to help us all heal. Go ahead, homegirl. Tell planet Earth how you feel. Real recognized real, game recognized game. B-girl Talash, B-girl Talash, B-Talash. Remember the name. Remember how she rose to dance around flames. The glory in her story, but white girl got the fame. B-girl Talash put respect on. B-girl Talash put respect. B-girl Talash, B-girl Talash. Manisha Talash. Say your name.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Peter Gordon, and I am just thrilled to be here. Because we have an audience of poets, I just want to mention one thing before I do this. Florida has a state poetry association. If you're interested in learning about it, there's actually a week, this coming weekend is our fall convention. It's floridastatepoetsassociation.org. There may be a chapter near you. Just go to the website, you can hear all about it. So those of you who've seen me here before, or those of you who have eyes, I'm coming up on my 66th birthday, and I wrote a poem about it. And this is 66th birthday. Since I could first hoist a basketball, I prepared for this day. Practiced dribbling between and under legs, shooting with either hand, through uncountable pickup games in concrete schoolyards, coached boys basketball, played YMCA senior leagues. Reached double six December 20, when the New York Knicks will sign me to a 10-day contract in time for Christmas matchup against the Celtics. Boston Garden, arena full of howling fans, hurling insults. An ocean of sound drowns out thud of ball hitting parquet floor. Sure, I'm just 5 foot 8 inches, 160 pounds, small mammalian ancestor roaming amongst Jurassic giants, but I have years more experience. Didn't join the team to sit on the bench. I start at guard. Celtics ignore me, doubling our center until I throw shot after 3-point shot through the hoop. Slow as I am, it seems the other team is slower. The basket, big as the Grand Canyon. After I score 20 first quarter points, Celtics send Jason Tatum, 6'8", 210 pounds, to guard me. I pull every schoolyard trick: reverse layup, backdoor cuts, pick and roll, switch shooting hands in the air. Teammates and I play on a higher plane. Passes whiz through air, arrive just as we get to our spot. I make baskets from 10 feet behind the 3-point line. On defense, my height's a disadvantage. Despite my 64 points, we're tied at 104. 20 seconds left in fourth quarter. Get the ball at midcourt and dribble slowly, killing clock. I wave off my center, who comes over to set a pick. The basket calls to me. Can't hear crowd screaming or trash talk from the chiseled athlete 2 feet in front of me. I fake left, right, left again, then go left, as my defender, astonished, falls to the court. Clock counts down to 5. Celtics swarm toward me. I elevate to maximum vertical leap, 3 3/8 inches off the floor. Let ball fly over a forest of hands towards garden rafters and down, down, through basket, nothing but net. We win 66 on my 66th. Next day, I retire. Nothing left to prove, and just in time.
Poems written yesterday in disgust at the treatment of women and other marginalized, especially on one side of the political aisle. Joneses. Break out my paraphernalia. 50% support nut gawking genitalia of a golf pro for 12 minutes on stage at his rally. Sycophant, anyone? Vote for the elephant, slapping his name on an economy black man built. Has good guilt gone the way of Tyrannosaurus? Quick, dementia, come bore us, if not scandalize. Benevolent donkey dong of the Democrats, not quite tit. Republicans dull socialism to the rich. Superior capitalism to pride bitch. Grabbed not by huffed husband, but television businessman, duping her brutality, the only reality, unswamping her pit. Skewer the truth. Uninformed, suck the sewer like orange Kool-Aid. Gospel. Execs, if you take, you're no flake. If you give, you're Roy G. Biv over an unnatural hell. Law applies merely to folk with no money for lawyers, not to businessmen queerly camouflaging the mob. Poor naked Noah, your dry loins house such big tent, both Apal and Arabians must pay rent. Demand of a justice's wife, how Catholicism files her rancor at jism, trumpeting love, not simply prism of kids, perhaps her only immortality. It only takes a spark to get a fire going. Money rules its impunity, carnage flowing, as the citizens bugger a gasp out Boeing's door. Pants on fire. Desperate bogus billionaire shall soon appear behind a McDonald's fryer. What's next? Musk oozing a pulpit? Paris Hilton in a wimple? Stormy banking her $20 million check?
Kind of scared to be up here with whatever is back here. So I am. Don't do it. Oh my God, gave me chills. So thank you to everybody that's performed. I'm sorry we are out of time. I do want to say a couple of things. First of all, you.
What should you, Christian? Yes.
Because you put in the effort of, put some effort into his outfit tonight. And I want everybody to see it and tell us why you wore this tonight.
You requested it.
I did not request it. So what actually happened?
I'm listening.
I send all your pictures to you, right?
Right.
And I sent him his pictures, and he's like, I thought I had more contrast than that. I'm like, well, you're wearing black and gray. It's not really that much contrast. You don't usually wear color. And he's like, all right, I'm going to wear bright green then.
You requested it.
I did not. I request sexy punks. That's what I do. Which you have done for me too. But thank you.
The Shrek green isn't sexy?
I didn't say that. And it's brat green. She called you Shrek.
Oh.
So thank you again, Simran.
Yes.
I want to say one more time that I am very grateful to all of you for coming, for understanding when you can't perform, and for coming again the next month so that you can perform, and just understanding that we have time limits, and not beating me over the head afterwards. And I really appreciate some of you regulars that have come and just taken a seat in the back a few times, just so that there is space for all of our new folks to perform. So, thank you, Simran. Thank you to others like Anthony and company that are just gonna listen tonight. And thank you everybody for understanding. Appreciate it so much. So our
I did forget to thank important people. Leah Nash is here, our executive director.
Yeah.
Our wonderful volunteer, Liz and Arthur also, who comes here, just to make books available to you, and he always curates something for you guys. It's a lot of work, and I'm very happy that he comes here and makes this available to you.
Alright, so we will do our group photo of performers at the end like usual. I'm going to drag Benoit, and I think Elaine's still back there, and Leah up here for that photo. Every month, 7:30. See you next month. drop your wine cups at the sink, and we'll give these folks back our house. And I would like suggestions for whatever we're going to name whatever's living up here.
Yeah.
Have a good night. Thank you.